Morning, guys. It's Corrupted
And it is Dragon.
with Ramen for the Soul.
Back again.
Yeah. So we missed last week, so we're gonna do a double episode this week. It's not
Pretty
gonna be
much.
that long though,
It's just all Fishman Island talking about the metaphors.
and we're gonna be
stuff.
fucking hating on it. Or I am, so I have been pretty critical of One Piece up to this point,
Facts.
and it's not because I hate it. It's I actually like Oda's writing. I've come to this, like, after thinking about it, I actually
He's
like
been
Oda.
converted, y'all.
It's not that I've been converted. It's just that I like good writing.
Yeah.
So, like, but I will say everything before Dressrosa, I don't like. I really like Dressrosa, though. So when we get to Dressrosa, that episode's probably going to be like 3.5 hours long.
Dressrosa is great.
There's
though.
only one part of Dressrosa that I didn't like, and that was Senor Pink. And it's almost excusable.
Almost excusable. I think it's excusable.
No. It's almost excusable. Like, he almost turned me around at the last minute. Like, if he would have done it a little bit earlier and it didn't feel so weird, it would have been... No, there's one more part I didn't like about it, because there's the one character that, like, tries to Vanderdecken, that's it. Rebecca.
Wait, he don't like
it's
that
like a throw off thing, like an offshoot. Remember that one guy?
You talking about
I can't remember his name.
When dude tried to go at Rebecca.
Yeah, because you don't know this from the actual fucking story until much later, but Rebecca's only like 16.
Yeah,
and I was
something
just
like that.
Ugh, brother, ugh. When that guy showed up.
No, did he?
I don't. Yeah, no. That was all Diddy. That mother. There's literally a guy in Dressrosa that's made out of baby oil. Okay.
But we'll get there.
Yeah, we're only like three episodes away, I think, from Dressrosa. Because Punk Hazard's only like 36 episodes or some shit, right?
About 3 weeks. 3 weeks or so from Dressrosa.
Yeah, because
Yeah, we'll get there.
Punk Hazard in manga, it's not very long.
We'll get there.
It's only like 60 chapters, I think.
We'll get there.
But yeah, we're talking about my least favorite arc in One Piece, and a bunch of other people's least favorite arc. It's like, the thing about this arc is a lot of it is just an excuse to show how much the 2 years has changed everybody.
That's all.
That's, if I did the math, I think 65% of what you see. Because, like, they basically, you remember in Power Rangers how in the first 10 episodes, there's an episode about each individual Power Ranger to, like, explain who they are?
Yeah, but they didn't do that.
But I'm saying, like, where they get a chance to show off.
Yeah,
that's
all get
what
a chance to
bunch
show
of
off,
fishmen felt like.
I mean, when you're talking about a crew showing off their powers, I mean, what else you gonna compare it to? Ain't really much else out here that's gonna be a crew, but ain't much else out here. Ain't really much other crews that are showing off their powers in comparison enough like this. Is 10 of them. Like, I would rather them take a Power Ranger semi route than like give us like a Dragon Ball every go around and going around the world for every scene. Like sometimes, but I understand. Like, it's cool, but we good. Like, it's just to show off their powers so they see what the 2 years did.
So I'm not
we
gonna
know
say
what Luffy did.
I'm not gonna say that you're stupid if you like Fishman Island. I'm just saying that if you're just like, Fishman Island's my favorite arc, I'll give you side eye for a couple of seconds and be like, did he read Dressrosa?
Hey, Fishman was in my top 5 for a while. It's still top 10 to me. I still have it top 10. Sorry. The worst arc in Fishman Island's Long Ring, Long Land, and nobody can convince me otherwise. I will die on that hill.
That's considered the Foxy arc, right?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck Foxy.
Nope. You already just said Fishman Island is your least favorite arc.
Yeah, it's my least favorite arc,
so
but
Foxy's
my least favorite character.
Nope. You just admitted that you like Foxy a little bit more than you like Horty. You just admitted it.
Oh, yeah, that's because I like racist, vehement racist, like, people that want to start a holy war against people that look different than him more than I hate people that look like pedophiles, I guess. I don't know.
Damn, which one's wait, you think Foxy just looks like a pedophile?
Yeah, he looks like Spartacus. Or Sporticus from that fucking Lazy Town show.
I don't see it.
The face, not the body type. The face.
I mean,
that's mainly just me throwing shade at Lazy Town.
He is. He definitely is.
But yeah, I disliked Foxy, but that's neither here nor there. So basically, it starts off right after the Kraken fight and catching caribou. Some people show up like, hey, y'all want to join our army? Some fishermen do. And Luffy's just like, you want to go fuck yourself? That's not the exact words Luffy uses, but it's the same vibe. They try to attack him with Sea Kings. They use Kuda Burst to break into the bubble around Fishman Island because Fishman Island's in a giant bubble. I don't know why, but the beaches on Fishman Island remind me of Blue Lagoon from SpongeBob. But they get in there. They all think they're going to drown. And then they wake up. It's Cammy from back in the day, from 2 years ago. The chick that got kidnapped and started the entire backtracking.
Sold.
Yeah, they tried to sell her and everything.
Was the whole reason. Yeah.
Like, it's arguably the entire reason we saw Marineford. Because if, like, Cammy doesn't get kidnapped, I don't know, because Borsalino never shows up. Kuma doesn't show up.
No, Ace was still going to get executed.
I'm saying since we're following Luffy, like, we probably.
But you don't think he wouldn't have stopped everything and still go to Ace?
But how would you get there without Boa Hancock's help?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But it would have been like, I think he would have still tried it, but it would have been like different.
I don't think he would have got there.
Because remember, Ace is because remember, Whitebeard was going to Marineford without Luffy. Ace was gonna go to. It wasn't like Ace got moved from Impel down because of Luffy. He was already going to Marineford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I can easily see Luffy pulling up like Whitebeard, like Shanks did, like Law did. Like, what? I don't think nothing would have stopped Luffy from getting there if it was for Ace. If he knew he was going to be executed in Marineford, pulling up, because Law pulled up out of nowhere, Blackbeard pulled up out of nowhere, Shanks pulled up out of nowhere. Like, technically, Whitebeard wasn't even there. He pulled up too. So, like,
no, but what I'm getting at,
it would have been different.
I don't know if he can get there, like physically get there. I don't think the Straw Hats could have physically gotten there, because like their ship goes off currents.
The only way you gonna back this up if you tell me how Law, Shanks and Blackbeard got there.
So
because Blackbeard's ship is a raft,
but also Blackbeard has stupid bullshit hacks.
Okay.
No, so like Blackbeard was allowed to be there, so the gate would open for him that would just take you straight there.
Yeah, he was a warlord at that point.
Yeah, and remember, he's the entire reason. Like, if it wasn't for Blackbeard, Luffy wouldn't have gotten out of Impel Down, because he's the one that made him open the gate at Marineford. Lafitte's the one that had him open the gate to Marineford, because Lafitte hypnotized the guy to open it for any ship. So, I don't think, because none of them know how to get to Marineford, and Luffy I don't want to say he lucked his way into getting to Marineford, because a lot of it was Blackbeard's entire, Blackbeard's
some people would argue Luffy plot armors his way through a lot of things.
I wouldn't say he plot armored his way through getting there specifically, because it was all Blackbeard's 4-dimensional chest that got him in there.
Yeah.
That got him in Marineford and got him out and everything.
Yep.
So I refuse to say that he lucked his way out of it, because it was somebody else. Like, you're not lucky if you get to. It's not luck that got there if it's somebody else that got you there. You know what I mean? Like, it's lucky that they got you there, but it wasn't.
The encounter was lucky, but everything after the encounter is not luck; it's fortune.
Like, the entire thing was set up by somebody else.
Like somebody is a millionaire. like, and you know them, like, that's fortune. But luck would be that, you know, that same millionaire, like,
got a better way. Like, you got a buddy that's a millionaire. He's dying. He leaves all the money to you. Like, it's lucky in the sense, like, it feels lucky, but at the same time, you were just there for your friend.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he's
leaving
them. Yeah.
More like fortune. Just deeper than luck, in my opinion. But nah.
Well, it's like luck caused by some. How is that? Okay. OBS is acting a little weird today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Dude, the entire internet just shut off.
Really?
Yeah. That's what happened. Okay. I think it's back. We just had a small internet outage. I think it's back, though.
We're still live over here.
I think it's back. But the internet just went out for a couple of seconds. So give us 1 second while I look into this.
This sponsorship is brought to you by
NordVPN, apparently.
Hey, we need a NordVPN. I need to look into that. I swear to God.
So, we apologize for this. Give us 1 sec. What the fuck? Okay, it should
be good.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not trying to use the Ethernet. That's weird. Okay, that was weird. But yeah, for some reason the internet just legit went out for a couple of seconds, but it looks like it's back up. Apologize for that. AT&T been tripping lately.
I heard they on strike.
Yeah, it looks like it's back now, but that's kind of scary for a couple of seconds. But yeah, we were just talking about how like everything was a result of Blackbeard's machinations rather than the argument that some people have of Luffy having like insane plot armor. But back to what's happening with that. It was Cammy that saved them. We meet the triplets that the Bubble Guppies are 100% based off of. They're even called. Called the fucking Guppies. I never thought
about that. What the heck?
They look exactly like the fucking Bubble Guppies.
They got the same colors.
Yeah, and the same faces and everything, dude. There's no way.
Same faces, but I see it.
I just know because I have a sister that's like 8, and she used to love the Bubble Guppies when she was little. So would see it from now and then. They look exactly like the Guppy Quints. It's just...
I wouldn't say exactly, but I see the resemblance.
Like, if you transpose them onto 3D, they look identical. So I think Nickelodeon stole from Oda.
I wouldn't say identical.
So, but I'm also saying I think Nickelodeon stole from Oda. I don't think Oda stole the design from anybody.
I'm just saying, I don't think...
that's right. I'm calling out Nick. Universal, send Oda a check.
I don't see, like, we already got Power World getting patented in a lawsuit right now for the same kind of thing. And
no, it's not the same. It has nothing to do with the images. It's how you catch Pokemon, why everyone thinks it's going to get thrown out.
Nobody said it was going to get thrown out.
Every lawyer I've seen break it down, but also in America it would immediately get thrown out, but Japan's laws are different since they're both based in Japan.
Everyone I've been seeing saying that it's pretty much bad. Like, everyone's been speculating that this lawsuit is like really bad because like for Power World, but also in general because it's like what they're saying is illegal and what's not illegal and stuff. Like, it's going to change the groundwork for how you do stuff.
So my understanding of the lawsuit is that it's has nothing to do with the actual stuff. It's how catching stuff in a ball works.
I saw that.
Which is something that shouldn't be patentable because you can do shit like that in real world. So that makes it not a...
That's what I saw, but I also saw like...
But so I know like patent law is different in Japan, but in America, every lawyer that I've seen break it down, it's just like this would get thrown out almost immediately. But also,
like if they hadn't went this far and already talking about getting sued, I can see it happening in other places.
At least Pal World made infinite money, so it was a good game.
Infinite money. I wouldn't say infinite.
Well, they sold like 8 million copies at $25. That's
like its first like few weeks or so.
But that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but its longevity is done. Like its longevity is about to be kaput. Yeah, which is upsetting.
But also, this might help. Like if Nintendo ends up getting the shit slapped out of them with this.
If they lose, yeah.
Yeah, if Nintendo loses, it might help manga in the long run too. Like manga games and stuff. So it's very important for people in our space with this. Since Japan's legal system's weird.
Oh, they weird as hell.
But
JJK taught me that.
Yeah, that was a crazy chapter when that happened with Higurumo and everybody. But they wake up, Sanji almost dies. And then he holds it in
himself. That boy ain't been around on woman in 2 years.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, that was the funniest part of Fishman Island to me. Every time I think about it, it's Sanji really almost died from seeing women for the first time.
No, remember, it's not from seeing women. It's the one shoves his face in between her boobs to hide him.
I'm just saying, like even subsequently after that, like it's only triggered by looks. After this, like he ain't even gotta go into the whole second base, into it. Third base, whatever you want to however you rank it.
Yeah, I think that would be second base. Like forced motorboat.
He ain't even got to go all into that. It's just seeing them throw him into the frenzy. But that's just somebody like Sanji. That's just so hilarious. Like I shouldn't be laughing, but at the same time, like bro, it's really funny. Like when you think about it. But he was in a pretty traumatizing place.
So, like, it's not that I don't think the gag's not funny. It's just that the gag has happened so many times in a short span of time, post time skip.
I mean,
which is why when he's like, he has to like steel himself and sniffs in, not to die in front of Cammy.
I mean, I wouldn't say the exact. I say they keep upgrading, and then it kind of slowly dies down as it gets up on. Like it's been like heavy up till now. But this is probably the heaviest it's gonna be.
Yeah, and
it's for a real reason.
They go to the beach.
I can. That's why
they wake up. They go meet a bunch of mermaids, and that's when what Dragon's talking about happened.
Yep.
Sanji almost kills himself. He has a fucking aneurysm because his face is poop. Yeah, his face is held in between the boobs of a mermaid. And Sanji has basically an aneurysm. So much blood shoots out of his nose that he has to have a blood transfusion to not die. But also, so this is something that I think is actually kind of funny. It actually kind of makes sense for Sanji to be able to do that from the perspective. So it would cause, like, if someone were to do that with that much force in real life, it like the friction would like catch them on fire. But Sanji's pretty much fireproof,
quote unquote. Yeah. Well,
he can cover himself. The Diable Jambe and all that stuff. Oda has confirmed it's actual fire.
Yeah.
Like it's not a devil. It's like his spirit is so powerful that he can coat himself in the fire of his own heart or whatever. I think is the wording Oda used. So it actually makes sense that the friction that would cause the geyser from the pressure doesn't hurt Sanji. It actually makes sense, which is hilarious to me. And it's like it's a good consistency thing from Oda, in my opinion. It's like one of those small things that feels inconsequential, but it gives the story continuity, if that makes sense. Like it just makes it feel consistent. Like it's a bit of consistency, and every time there's consistency, I like that personally. Because some stuff just never gives us consistency.
How do you call that consistency, though?
it's a small thing about Sanji's powers that we don't fully understand. That's always consistent.
Okay.
Like so he's immune to the friction.
Is not the word you're talking about. Is what's interpreting it. It's like
consistency is not the word that's supposed to go there, but
you like to see the correct flushing, the additive flushing of
or,
the way it makes sense.
I like the continuity of.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's the word. Yeah, it means the same thing, but it's not the same right word. Yeah,
I don't think it means the same thing.
They can mean the same.
If you're using them in different contexts, they mean something different.
But I think
because continuity, when we're talking about it as like continuation, consistency meaning this same thing happens on a basis that's trackable.
That's true.
That's not the same
They don't
thing.
always mean this. I get what you mean, yeah. But it's just one of those little things that
it makes it complete. You're completing it. It makes the puzzle more complete. Like finding out that Luffy's power is actually imagination and not just rubber. It feels a little more complete that way.
I think it's belief and not imagination. But those two can be used so interchangeably that it's not
we know. It's belief. It's belief. Yeah. That's what this channel says. It's belief.
Yeah. But it's just one of those little things that Oda used as like a throwaway gag, but it works on a character level, so I like it. If that it's supposed to just be something.
Another
that just
example
happens,
would be the fact that and I just thought about this, and this is just something so minor. It can be when knowing Zoro can spin his swords fast enough to create a minor tornado. It makes sense that he can. If y'all know the scene in Wano where they want him to slit his belly, and he has this little small knife. If he can swing a sword with the same force to make a tornado, he should be able to swing that little thing with enough force to like cut through what he cut through. But what he did with it was fantasy, but the same amount of force that he did, it makes sense that he could exert more power and force on a smaller knife to do something like that when he can make a tornado.
I think an even better example is it's just an unspoken version of what happens 5 minutes later when Luffy punches the octopus guy and he subconsciously poisons Luffy, and Chopper's looking at the wound, and Chopper's just like, you have all the antibodies for this poison. What happened? It's just like, oh yeah, when I was impaled down, I fought a poison guy and he killed me. Like, he was just like, I was poisoned to death. But the thing with Sanji is he's fire resistant because of his powers. His power. So, but it's like one of those things that's like not stated implicitly. So I think it's also really good for world building that it's not stated implicitly.
Yeah. I mean, that itself is like how you do world building.
I think that's what makes like Kishimoto and Oda's world building so good is that a lot of the stuff they don't tell you what it means. They're just like figured out dum finger guns.
But still, like, we figured it out.
Yeah, but he doesn't tell you. It's like when you discover something in a FromSoft game, you're just like, dude, that was so dope that I found this by myself. You know what I mean? Like when they like leave the things for you to connect the dots for yourself.
Okay.
With those little things.
Yeah.
With those little things.
Yeah.
Like he does it expressly. Like there's moments where he has to tell you expressly what it means.
Kuma's backstory is just what you just explained. Like Kuma's backstory in the manga, when you get there, it's pretty. If you've already read it, I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but like it's pretty much like the parts that hit you is literally just a montage of freaking pictures with no other context, but you know where they are. And if y'all read it, y'all know. Like you looking at those pictures, like I know where he is. I know where he is. Oh, he was there. Oh, like it's just like, and he didn't have to say much. And then like, bruh, and he used the exact same trope towards the end to just make it all come together. And this, like, it didn't even have to do nothing but still images to go ahead and move the whole feeling of it. But yeah, I get it.
Or like to go with that, like the unspoken implication is that Kuma left it there so Bonnie would know the truth.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's not even that. Yeah, but that's going deep into it. I'm just talking about how like,
but it's like those little unspoken things.
Yeah,
that
like,
Oda implies.
Yeah.
The
implications that we see just by like the way he set the setup. Because when we're talking about world building, it's the setup. Because a lot of people hate Fishman Island, but it's set up a lot.
And I'm one of those people.
Yeah, like it's set up a lot when you talk about like.
It gives you a glimpse into the actual story one day.
Yeah, because what people actually start to care about when we get there, like Horty in himself, even though his reasoning and stuff is really stupid and really shitty, you know what I'm saying? Everyone after him does worser things for some of the same shitty reasons.
So, I don't actually think Horty's reason is
I do.
Stupid. Because his reason isn't he's racist. It's he's nihilist, and his nihilism has caused him to be racist. Because like I don't think it's stupid to be nihilist, but I think it's stupid not to do something about being nihilist. If that like I don't think being nihilist and cynical, like from like how the world has treated you, but if you don't try to get out of that, I think you're stupid. If that makes sense. Like, so I do think Horty is stupid. I just don't think that being nihilist isn't really stupid.
I mean, I'm going more on the side of how...
I think I get what you're saying.
Like, just on what he was doing. Because, like, he did all this for reasons that were selfish. Because he himself started everything that happened. From the point that he set up that guy. He's
a lot like the old African proverb. A child that's never shown warmth by the village will burn down the village to feel its warmth.
But how was he wasn't shown warmth? He was made part of the Royal Guard.
When he was a kid, though, he was like dirt poor and everything, and then he was lied to, and then he learned the truth about what happened with Fisher Tiger, and then. Because remember, Arlong originally lies to him, and then he learns the truth that Fisher Tiger actually just rejected.
Well, but if he wasn't the only person that knew the truth, though. Like, upon Jinbei knowing the truth, he did some different shit. And then when you
But also, Horty was a kid when it happened.
Yeah.
That happened.
So it's like, I think he was more influenced by Arlong than anything. And wanted to do it differently than Arlong. And when Arlong went down, it was almost like, he couldn't succeed out there because he tried to go out. And it was almost like that because the whole time I'm watching, I'm thinking like, bro, why didn't you just, all this time you hated humans and did this so much, why didn't you just try to do what Arlong did and just go up there and get you a little vessel or whatever, even if you didn't need it. If you thought you were so superior, like one thing that was different from Horty and one thing that was different from Arlong can truly say Fishman were superior because he went in the teeth of the humans and did what he said he was going to do for the longest time.
Remember, his plan was also he wanted to slowly conquer more places. He was just waiting for Nami to map everything around him. Yeah. And once everything was mapped out, he was just going to start. But that was the only thing he was waiting on, though. Like, it wasn't like he was waiting on more men or he was waiting on that. He already had that. He was trying to know where the hell he was going. Like, Horty, on the other hand, nigga, you stayed at home. You stayed on the porch. You ain't never come out there. You waited for all them people to come there, and then you terrorized them there. You made the whole Fishman Island just look at humans like they wasn't nothing because of something you did. And it was like, if you hated them... trying to stir up controversy.
Yeah, that wasn't there.
Felt like... This is going to sound like a really stupid thing, but this is how Horty, like what Horty reminds me of. He reminds me of, like, did you watch season 2 of The Boys?
Yes.
The one with Stormfront?
Yes.
Remember when Stormfront's, like, doing all the trolling online?
Yes.
That's what Horty feels like.
Just a troll.
Like, that's, like, the most extreme version of that. That's what Horty feels like.
Yeah.
And also, 100%. The other thing is, like, the other thing about Horty is he takes this thing called an energy steroid that doubles his power. Like, each one that you take doubles your power. But he's still weaker than Jinbei even after taking, like, an entire handful. Which is crazy.
I can see that.
No, like, he actually, like, tries to hit Jinbei, and Jinbei's just like, what the fuck are you doing, kid? Like...
And that's the, like, if you take the energy steroid out of the whole equation, like, Fishman Island is a completely different arc.
No, but it's, like, that's the whole reason I dislike the arc, is because the entire conflict doesn't fucking matter. Because Jinbei could have fixed it by himself.
Yeah. Real talk. Like, well, I don't know if Jinbei would have killed, like, all them soldiers when they was out there when they had got there.
Well, yeah,
if they had got to that point though, but I think Jinbei could have stopped it.
I need to word it better. Jinbei could have fixed the entire problem himself
before it got to that point.
But the king was so inept because he's so sad about his wife dying that he refused to let people fix the issues. Because that's like Fukaboshi like talks about like it's our fault as the kings. It's our fault because we could have fixed this problem like from the source. We could have just brought everyone in the district up to us.
I remember. Yep.
Yeah, like that's his entire thing. Like he gives an entire speech. I actually have it written down. We'll go over it in a little bit. But the entire thing, he's just like, it's our fault that Horty hates humans because we didn't do enough to show everyone around him that, or not. It's not that Horty hates humans is our fault. It's the fact that hatred was able to be bred in their kingdom is like Fukaboshi and his dad's fault, because they like frame Fukaboshi as like second in command, like the one that's gonna take his father's place. Also, like every time Shirahoshi calls out for help, she calls out for her dad and Fuki Onisama. That's like in the manga. That's how she says his name. That's those. She doesn't call the two annoying brothers, like the one that always sings and the one that always dances. No, it's Whale Shark Bro and fucking Dad. That's the only ones that she calls out for when she's in danger, which, like in my head, makes you think they're the ones that stand on business, right? Because remember, like we learned, Neptune used to be like the strongest fishman once upon a time when he was younger.
Yeah.
Now he's just so fucked up from like battles and stuff. But like,
you got no.
Yeah, and now Jinbei is probably the strongest fishman.
And Jinbei, I see what you're saying, because in Jinbei's case, he was so concerned with Fishman Island safety as a whole in the world they were in, because of the stuff Fisher Tiger went through and all that. The way people view Fishman, he was trying to make sure they were safe outside, and I feel like he was more concerned with outside than the inside. Because if he was more any concern with inside, he could have stopped Horty before it ever got to that point. Like the same position that people was looking at in the underworld that Horty was getting looked at, Jinbei could have came in, took over, and changed the mind of everybody else in a different, more positive way.
Also, Horty tries to show, if you remember, like Jinbei leaving actually fucks them over, because Horty uses it to be like, see, Jinbei doesn't really care about our plight. Like he's trying to say, like, if you look at it from like a civil rights sort of like lens, if you look at it that way, he's basically saying Jinbei up and left and went to the rich people neighborhood instead of staying here with us. Like that's how Horty.
That's like exactly how he throws shade. That is exactly what he does. Like
you said, he could have been here with us and he could have fixed the problems, but no, instead he wants to run away. Like that's, I think, because part of what Horty tells his crew.
And then when you look at
verbatim,
like, because what when we get into the whole plan as a whole, like, bro, he went through, because they was from the bottom fishman district where they pretty much didn't go, where it was a whole bunch of crime and all that down there.
Section 8,
yeah, basically. And he wanted to come up there. Like that's what Fukamoshi was talking about when you talk about what we're gonna get to about his quote and his speech. But all that could have been stopped with them. But when you get down to it, like, because I still don't understand why Horty even. What's the real end game you had? Like just from the way he was going about it, because it's like, bro, like I get it, you hate humans, you want to be superior, but bro, like the way he was doing it, just I hated it.
I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't think he was. I think how to say this correctly without getting canceled.
Don't tell me.
I think he was just using his racism as an excuse to get everyone around him mad. Because he really just wants to burn the entirety of Fishman Island to the ground.
That's what it feels like more than anything. Like, that's why I asked what was his end game. Because it's like that's...
So, the reason I think it's controversial is because I think he had the exact same idea as, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Oda based Horty off Hitler. Remember, Hitler was a fucking crack addict and everything. Yeah. Took steroids and shit. Like,
I mean, he did use a bunch of stage propaganda to get him.
That's going, what. And then like the flag and everything that he does. But what's up, Amir? Hello. But like what he does is very. What's the word? He just wants to burn it to the ground, and he's using other people's hatred to get to where he's allowed to burn it to the ground.
And it's almost, because it's exactly what you say. His hatred of Fishman, his hatred of humans was so, like, intense that he framed a human in order to justify his hatred.
But also, if you remember, when he, like, sits there and talks to Fukaboshi, Fukaboshi's like, what did humans do to you to make you hate them so much? And he tries to give the Fissure Tiger spiel.
Right.
And he's just like, there's no way that's why you hate humans so much, because you know the truth. And then he's like, so what made you hate humans so much? And he goes, nothing. They've done nothing.
Exactly.
Like, the whole thing is like, because, like, that's why I think, like, there's no way Horty Jones isn't based at least a little bit off Hitler.
I can see it.
Like, Hitler did the same exact thing, well, like on a like massive scale, and he's like such a horrible being that it's hard to say somebody else is like him without it being like, I hope this person dies sort of thing. Like, that's what's saying, which I do hope Horty dies. Fuck that man.
Yeah, Horty.
But that's his whole thing. He just wants to destroy the place where he's from, like where he wants, because if he truly thought that fishmen were so superior to humans, why the fuck would he destroy where all the fishmen are? Would you want to just build up an army to destroy everywhere else?
Yeah.
Except wouldn't the plan be do the exact opposite of what you're doing?
Yeah, why he didn't go and do what Arlong did. Go out and literally try to conquer out there and keep them out of Fishman Island yourself.
It's just Horty wants to destroy everything.
And I think going back to how he treated, how he viewed the queen, like how she was viewed, with how she wanted to further Fishman Island and everything. And everything that we see her follow, we see Horty resent. Like, and we're not sure if it was like just her ideals alone, or was it just her, but it more felt like what she stood for more than anything, just how she moved the people and everything.
Here's one thing I am curious. Is it that he hated her, or did he hate what she represented, which is Fishman Island not being terrible anymore?
Like, the actual...
That's her entire plan, is to fix Fishman Island.
Yeah.
Because it would... and it's not like the Golden Kingdom style of fix where they just bring Fishman Island up to the surface where they actually have a chance to live like normal fucking people.
Yeah,
like that's her whole thing.
You think about it too, like from a economical, advancement standpoint. That's what someone in that position would want, to have it to where people can come here freely, so they spend money. We keep the currency going. We use all this stuff to advancement, so that way because they're under the protection of Big Mom too. Maybe they're not trying to stay under the protection. Maybe they're trying to advance themselves, become powerful on their own to get their own
also,
stuff.
Remember when he killed her, they were under the protection of Whitebeard.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. That's why Jinbei and Whitebeard are friends.
Right.
It's because, and why Ace and Jinbei are friends and all that stuff. It's Whitebeard had, and Whitebeard asked for nothing in return. Big Mom asked for relatively nothing.
But like sweets and stuff like that.
Because they're the only place that make that type of candy.
Yeah.
Because she just cares about new experience. Which is like something that's going to be interesting when we get into like the emperors. Because each emperor is like their own brand of nihilism.
Of course.
Which is like the whole story is Luffy's overcoming it. Same with like every major that's the whole thing. Every major encounter has been some form of nihilism. Like they have some mechanism to cope with their nihilism, or they're like Shanks. They're not nihilistic. They just have a slightly different outlook on it than Luffy does.
I ain't gonna lie. You just kind of opened my mind on some a little bit when you talked about it. Because, like, just like how you mentioned in the Emperors, you know, like we said, Fishman Island kind of start into the new world and stuff like that, really getting into the story. And talking about conquering nihilism, the first mentions of Joy Boy we get is an apology. So, you know, you can see an apology in a way they was talking about. You can see that it probably would have been some kind of trait like that he's trying to overcome too, in the same timeline that they were at. Like, I ain't gonna say I feel it was some kind of nihilism that he was trying to overcome too, if not his own, the force of nihilism trying to take over his. In a way, it was like an apology, because, you know, like, I'm trying to say, like, you start to overcome nihilism with almost, it feels like an apology, somewhere in that headspace. Not exactly that. Like,
well, the big thing is it's a acknowledgement of failure. Everyone else, like all the nihilists in it, they don't acknowledge their failure. It's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing that's interesting. Is
yeah,
like,
that's the best way, because with Joy Boy starting, it's almost like he's acknowledging his failure with the beginning of overcoming nihilism.
It's to according to Nietzsche, like, to be able to take the undergoing, which is where, like, you go down to your lowest point and then come back up.
Understand yourself better, to start that.
Not necessarily just understand yourself better, but to become better.
Yeah.
Like, for humanity to become better when you undergo. I can't remember his exact word for it. It's a German thing that's really weird, so I can't remember the exact.
Descending to the mental abyss or something.
I can't remember exactly what the wording was, but it translates to undergoing. It's where you go down, and you have to, like, kind of break yourself down to the smallest point. So if it's at the point where Joy Boy is like, damn it, I failed, sort of thing, it would make sense that he's like, I failed, it's my fault. I'm gonna do everything to, like, make sure this doesn't happen, but it's probably not gonna happen. But you look at Doflamingo, his whole thing is, it's all my dad's fault.
Yeah.
My dad ruined everything. What's it called? Lin, it's all somebody else's fault. When we get to Big Mom, Buggy, it's all Shanks' fault.
Yeah.
Whitebeard didn't blame anybody, so he was like, he was there where he's supposed to be. Same with Shanks, he doesn't blame anybody else. But everyone that blames somebody else for their problem, that has, like, an excuse that's somebody else, has been a major villain if you think about it.
That's true as well.
Like,
we're going to see, because I think we're getting to the point where we're going to see Buggy's move. I 100% believe that Buggy's move is going to be pivotal coming in the coming chapters, but we'll get there. But I see that because even when we haven't seen in Blackbeard's case what he's nihilistic about yet, but I think that's more of a holding back on us, like, not really telling us a lot of Blackbeard's story.
So this is going to sound... I don't think Blackbeard is a nihilist.
I don't either, but we also don't know where his true conviction lies.
I don't know
what
if
started his, like, whole thing.
Like, I don't know if he's like the rest of, like, how Luffy is getting Shanks's and Whitebeard were. And Roger, like, those three, we know what they're about. We know what they, like, we know their whole and Garp to an extent too. Garp too. They are, like, fully actualized things that have undergone already. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why they're so much stronger than everybody else. Yeah. And it makes sense from, like, a perspective. Like, in a universe where the strongest power is actual, like, a manifestation of your willpower, it makes sense that the strongest members of said universe that we've seen so far, they're all people who have undergone. You know, like, they're all people that went to the lowest point and came back out. Like, they're all people that have ascended to a degree, like,
ascended to a higher state, you know, from going through their darkest times. They've overcame.
Like that. because it's like that's the big thing about like hockey, because it's the strongest thing. Like you even see, like even Kaido says it, and Kaido's supposed to be. He said like it's the power to transcend everything, but it makes it because it's the literal or not personification, but it's literally just taking your willpower and applying it to weaponizing it. Like that's especially Conqueror's hockey. It's just the part of you that wants to, like, that's why how Luffy wins the fights that he shouldn't win. It's just because his willpower is so much stronger than everybody else's. Like that's like people will say friendship is the biggest
driving force,
the biggest theme in One Piece. I think it is you can conquer anything.
Yeah.
Cause like that's like,
I mean,
the entire power system is about conquering.
Yeah, I mean, because I think you say Naruto's more about friends than One Piece. But
I don't know if Naruto's so much about friends or it's not leaving somebody behind.
Yeah, but that would have more social elements in it than what Luffy's doing. Because the thing about it is Luffy would still have freedom, which you kind of notice now, which is another subliminal thing that Oda's just kind of done. You know, Luffy ain't the type of dude to hold grudges on people. We've seen him bring past enemies who he's already liberated into the fray and give them some form of allied decency. In like how he did Crocodile, how he's done Buggy, you know, that whole slew, Marineford, Impel Down, and them escape, giving them some kind of treatment as an ally. You know, he still would have freedom for his enemies too if he could bring it apart. Like we've seen, you know, up until now, especially Marineford and everything, he literally has had people who were enemies ready to kill him as his allies. So that's something we don't see flushed out a lot, you know, across anime, which is understandable. You know, it's not really something to play with because everybody can't have redemption. You know, especially like, Horty. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, Horty can't have redemption. Foxy, yeah, boy.
Fender
done. Yeah, he did. Honestly, I would be. I want him to. If Kaido is still alive, it's really you can't do a lot. You know, give Kaido everything. You know, you just got to realize he still kind of enslaved a whole bunch of people and killed them. You know, like you can't just be all.
Or Big Mom.
Well, yeah, Big Mom either.
Big Mom's entire thing is it's a racketeering ring.
Pretty much.
That's why Gangbang works for her. I know that's not his name, but it sounds funny in my head to call him Gangbang because he's only one letter off. You know? But,
Veggie.
Yeah, it's only one letter off. You just swap the E at the end, turn it sideways to where it looks kind of like a dyslexic N, and put it in between the other B and the G. It's Gangbang.
Why? But nah,
like
nah, I definitely.
That is an OP fruit, but that's a different story for another day.
We gonna get there.
But like the whole thing, like I just like there's so much potential in this arc that's unrealized, and I think that's why I hate this arc so much, especially like after Dressrosa, Wano, and Egghead. Mm-hmm. Like when you see like how good Oda can do the stuff that he starts here.
Oh yeah.
You're just like, are you fucking kidding me, Oda? Like it's like
I think we're in the golden age of One Piece right now.
It's like when I was telling you about like when I was like almost through Dressrosa, I was just like I can't tell if Oda's doing these great moments on accident or on purpose because it's surrounded by moments that I don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, like, once you get to Dressrosa and Wano and Egghead, it's all good moments with, like, almost none, if there's any of the bad moments, where you realize it's all on purpose.
I just, like, I just, like I say, bro, I don't watch the story in, like, bits. I just take it all in and go from there. If it's a bad moment, I know it'll be replaced by good moments. I don't count them.
I think it's the reason the Fishman is so, like, reviled by me is just because seeing what Oda is capable of with the themes of Fishman Island, I feel like he could have told it so much better. Especially seeing, it's not the exact same themes, but it's similar themes.
I don't think you can tell. I don't think you can tell anyone, a mangaka who makes stories, that he could have did it better. You just can say places that he could have improved on, but saying he could have did it better is.
I'm not saying I could
because like I ain't saying you could have did better, but me as a person who's written stories before and people have given me a better way to do things, and just the amount of changing it goes into, just from not just a moment, but from like stuff that was leading up past and stuff that was leading up to present, to where you have to make stuff fit in and stuff like that. It's more into it than just points that could have been like done better. Like it's into it, because that's why I'm saying like we take everything for what he's given us, because in everything he's given us, like we know the capability of new powers, because where we are now, and I have the benefit of hindsight 2020. Like where we are now versus where it's gonna be is almost like night and day, because the same problems, like even pacing, the same things that people have got on the Oda about for years is being fixed. Like the art's being fixed.
Well, so
like everything that people have had problems with in this thing is going to be fixed. There's going to be a point in the next 4 or 5 years or so that I wholeheartedly believe that you will not be able to say anything about One Piece, because they would have went back and fixed everything. That's where Wit Studio comes in, where they're getting a remake and stuff like that. Like, bruh, everything, like, they're listening is what I really love about it. They're going back, and like it's not like he's taking this stuff and just throwing it out the window. This stuff's still going on in the later chapters, the later animation is all like new age stuff. And like I say, 4 or 5 years, bro, it's not going to be anything we're going to be able to say about One Piece, because they've been and went back and listened to everybody's stuff and fixed everything. Because that's, I think, Wit Studio is going to do that. I hope it goes far enough to where they can say that, because it would be great.
Like, it's hard to say like how I think it'll be. I think it'll be over in 4 years, realistically.
I mean, Oda just came out today that I was seeing in my things that saying Elbaf itself is going to be 3 years. So
I just don't see the series being too terribly much longer. And when I say that, I mean it in how it is now, like how long it's been going on now. I don't see it getting close to doubling in age, is what I mean. Like,
ain't nobody hoping
like
to see
5
it for
years,
seeing 50 years. I think waves of pace is going to be
4.5 years.
Yeah, that's understandable.
If you think about it, in the there's somebody, I think it was Grand Line Review, had the best way to think about how Oda releases things that I've seen. I think it's Grand Line Review. Great channel, by the way. Y'all should check it out for One Piece stuff. He's one of the few One Piece channels I actually enjoy watching, because he goes real deep into it.
I'd be here all day telling you the people I enjoy.
But I also don't watch a lot of One Piece channels in general.
Yeah.
But I will say there's something that I thought that he said that was brilliant, and it's don't think about it in years. Don't think about One Piece being around in years. Think about it being in weeks, because he only has about 30 chapters a year on average.
Roughly.
Yeah. And it's roughly. As he gets older, it's going to be less per year.
Yeah.
As he gets older, because his kids are relatively young right now, but in 4 years they're not going to be young. They're going to be you know what I mean? Like, he's going to have more responsibilities outside of just paneling and stuff and writing. So it's slowly going to decrease, and we're slowly going to have more and more breaks between. I wouldn't be shocked in 2 years if it's a break every 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, to every 2 weeks a break, you know? So I think there's less than 400 chapters left in One Piece. Well, still not even 400. I think there's less than 250 chapters of One Piece left.
Still a lot.
Yeah, it's still a lot, but it's a lot less than what it's at.
And that's the thing.
I think it's about 150.
I think even it's crazy that you said like still about 150 to 250 chapters left, when that's as long as a lot of people's favorites right now. That's the part that's just killed. That's mind-boggling to me. Like, that we can fathom that. Like, bruh, this final saga is just as long as some other people's. Like,
the thing that's really weird about One Piece that no one talks about is it's written in real time. For the most part. Like, it's been how many years since it's been almost 10 years since the time skip, right? Or no, it has been 10 years since the time skip happened, right? Yeah, because the 15th anniversary episode is the episode in between 574 and 575. So it's been 10 years. And that's crap. That's one of those moments that I have the perfect idea in my head, and then explaining it, I forgot how I drive there.
I was waiting on it because you said in real time, and like this.
This
thing's been out for 25 years, and they've only elapsed maybe 4 in the story. I'm like,
No. It hasn't. We haven't even gone through in 10 years' time, because we just had the 25th anniversary of One Piece, right? Is like last year, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
The 15th anniversary of the anime was in between 574 and 575. Only a couple of months have passed between Sabaody Part 2 and what's happening currently in 1127. Like, it's only been like a couple of months. It's like as close to real time as you can get. I know it takes place over the course of like a week. Like all the crazy shit. Like Dressrosa's like a weekend. Like it's not like 24 real time where it's like what's happening at the hour marks thing, but it's as close as you can get to anime, I feel. Which is, to Oda's credit, it's very impressive. But back to the Fishman Island stuff. A very important thing is Charlie has a vision that says Luffy will destroy Fishman Island. Or I believe the exact wording is Luffy will bring ruin to Fishman Island. Which, it's funny. Because there's so many things that it could be that is the ruin that she's talking about. Like, is it when he pisses off Big Mom a couple episodes later, or like 20 episodes later? Is it caught up to the manga with what just happened at Maurice Joie?
Dude, that's a speculation for later there.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying? Like, there's so many. Like,
there's so much of stuff that we can talk about that, and like, we'd have to talk about things that we definitely have not covered.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like,
of course.
Because the stuff with Maurice Joie,
I understand.
Yeah, it's only a couple weeks or maybe a month later. Like, that's the thing about this whole thing going on. They happen so close to each other.
They happen so close to each other in the story, but not close to each other that's for us.
Yeah, for us it takes years, but for like Luffy's only been a pirate for like 2.5 years. You know what I mean? Like, Luffy's not even 20 yet. But like, that's what I'm getting at, is like, there's so many things that Charlie's vision could be. And the other thing that's crazy about her visions is her visions are never wrong. So, like, she's never been wrong. She's always been 100% accurate. So, is it because he doesn't bring ruin while he's there? So, it's just one of those things. Oda has left himself, like, infinite potential of what could be happening with that. You know what I mean? And it feels like one of those plot moments that he like says here and then pretends that he forgot about it just to bring it up later. Like Kuma's backstory.
Yeah, that was a good interjection.
Yeah, like he's just like, oh, Kuma's done all this stuff, but we're not going to talk about Kuma now. We're going to talk about this. And then once he explains this, he's just like, and that's why Kuma matters because of that. Which I think is what gives Oda a lot of like how good he is as a writer. Which is giving him his flowers. Got to give people their flowers when they earn them. You know what I mean? And then really not a ton happens outside the final fight in the rest of the episodes. Like we meet Shirahoshi, we find out Vanderdecken's a weirdo. Horty's a nihilistic dude that who claims that he wants to take over everything, but he really doesn't. He really just wants to burn the world to the ground. But there's not really a lot for the metaphor in between all this stuff. We really have to, like... it feels weird to say it, but just because not a lot is said for metaphor. But besides taking Shirahoshi, since she's been trapped in a room because Vanderdecken's trying to kill her, to the forest... Like, nothing shows off how ubermensch Luffy is until we get to the final fight with Horty. Like, because a lot of it is just showing off how much stronger they've gotten. Like, Brook shows off his new power of astral projection and stuff like that. And then the big fight with them is they get to show off all their new stuff. We get to see Jinbei in action for the first time in a long time. But I think the important part is with the actual fight with Horty, when they're out of the water, Luffy's riding on Fukaboshi. There's a couple of things that are said. It's Horty says, no matter how much of my life I must shorten, no matter how much I must sacrifice, I will have my revenge on humankind. And then Fukaboshi's just like, I don't get what has humanity done to you? Because earlier we get, I guess the Fisher Tiger stuff's kind of important. Fisher Tiger's the one that saved Boa Hancock. He saves a little girl slave, and taking the little girl slave home, they get ambushed by the Marines. The Marines kill Fisher Tiger because Fisher Tiger refuses to kill them back. And while Fisher Tiger's bleeding out, Fisher Tiger refuses a transfusion for humans because he doesn't want it. He doesn't want his life being saved to be tainted by the humans that hate him. Like, he didn't want them to feel like they owed it to him since he saved their daughter, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. And then Arlong, being the racist bastard that he is that hates humans, was just like, that's not actually what happened. He told everyone in the Fishman District that what actually happened is that the humans refused to help Fisher Tiger. Like, there's a few that knew the truth, but for the most part. And Horty just used that hatred of not saving Fisher Tiger, because Fisher Tiger's like the most famous fishman in the world. Yep.
He's the fishman that everybody knows about.
Like,
and probably
all the other fishermen want to be too. He's like their Superman.
And then when you think about it, on the flip side of both, like, the fishman probably was looked up the Fisher Tiger. The Celestial Dragon's probably whole freaking hatred of Fishman probably got something to do with Fisher Tiger. Probably.
He probably didn't help. It probably just hurt there. But they keep fishmen as slaves because they were great laborers.
Yeah.
Because they're so much stronger than
you remember Fisher Tiger was the one the only reason that they ever lost slaves was because of Fisher Tiger.
Yeah. But people hated fishmen before him.
Yeah, but I remember I said Celestial Dragon.
Yeah. They probably don't come into contact with a lot of fishmen, honestly. Because we know they love mermen.
But you think about, or
mermaids.
Well, you think about, how, like the celestial dragon's view of whatever their view is, a lot of the world nobles tend to take that view as well. From like we see the nobles in like, you know, Hightown and stuff. From when Sabo's flashback, the only reason that they sit there and was keeping all the stuff clean because they know they hated filth and all this stuff, and they know how the celestial dragons are, and they do that stuff and emulate it because they know they'll hate it. Versus like I'm just talking like strictly like amongst the view of like the world people, like why they probably weren't invited to like the reverie or weren't allowed to, you know, assimilate from that's probably because of probably something to do with Fisher Tiger and his rebellion. And seeing like all the stuff that he's capable of, it's like, why would we let them assimilate? It could probably be worse than him. That's just my head canon. It's probably not.
I imagine like they had to have hated him before that happened.
Oh, of course. I'm not saying they didn't.
But it probably didn't make it, like it definitely didn't help. You know what I mean? Like it definitely did something. Like it could have made it to where like celestial dragons just like no longer make them slaves, just kill them all, sort of thing, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That's most likely because what's it called? You don't see any fishmen up there.
Mm-mm.
Like that. They also don't talk about keeping any of them or anything like that in Marriage Roi. So I wouldn't be surprised if it made them be like, okay, now we just kill fishmen. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Especially like with like the Arlong thing. Like, you see, like, how he was treated in prison. Like, he's treated worse than a normal person. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like they're no longer slave-worthy sort of thing that the Celestial Dragons say. They're just like, fuck them up now sort of thing. It's what I wouldn't be surprised is the play, like, how they do it now.
Yeah, you do know that same girl that Fisher Tiger saved is Koala in the Revolutionary Army.
I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's like she was affected by Fisher Tiger too. Because she used to, you know.
Well, it makes sense because if you remember, she's one of the only humans that has taken the time to master Fishman karate.
Yeah. I would imagine, yeah. All the fishermen.
Not everyone up there is a slave.
It's like all the ones that are in Marriage Roi are, for the most part. Yeah.
No, I'm talking like the wording of that made it sound like everyone but the celestial.
There are fishermen in Marriage Roi, but they're all slaves. That's pretty much true.
It's probably just my dyslexia made me misread that.
Nah, you good.
Not that it made it sound like everyone that's not a. Like how I read it in my head is that it was everyone in Marriage Roi that's not a celestial dragon is a slave.
I mean, a celestial dragon wouldn't even be a fishman. Bro, if celestial dragon was a fishman, that would be a story conundrum right there.
It would actually make sense if one of the fishmen is a celestial dragon.
It would make sense if Emu was a fishman.
Well, also, have you ever noticed that there's no fish women?
I mean,
because no, they make sure to state there's a distinction between mer people and mermen.
Yeah, mer people and fishermen are two different things. I think.
It's not just. There's also all the like the Navy that's up there. Like when Green Bull was put up at Marriage Roi, he's not a slave. Like there's like some attendants and stuff that aren't slaves.
Yeah.
Because, like, Green Bull was, like, told to be there specifically. Because I think that's where Green Bull's in charge for a while. He's in charge of protecting it.
I couldn't tell you about where he was in charge at. Because Green Bull was pretty much invisible to me all the way up until Wano.
Until Shanks made him, Shanks made him his bitch.
Yeah. Like, I ain't even, like, I swear I still don't like him. Green Bull sucks.
Yeah. But others than key workers. Yeah, there's probably some workers that are above being slaves on, like, Marriage Roi, just because, like, there's certain things you don't want to let a slave do. You know what I mean?
Well, I definitely don't put it above them. I think Marriage Roi trying to be, like in a way, that's why Big Mom's kind of bad, because she's trying to.
She does that's a good example of what I was saying, though. Like, the nihilistic tendencies of the stuff.
Like
she's basically a celestial dragon, but instead of the tribute of being money and slaves, she wants food and
soul.
slaves.
Their soul. Remember,
yeah,
everybody there had to pay their soul toll.
Part of their life essence.
So, nah, bro, that's crazy. Like,
but
Big Mom's actually, that's probably why Big Mom's bad in my eyes now. And did never even realize it because she's doing the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you want them to, like, clean up, but you don't want them to make the food. You know what I mean? Like, that. You don't want them to do anything where, like, you don't want them to do anything where they can put arsenic and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, wasteful. Everything they do is wasteful. You don't want them.
Like, they probably got like chefs, because like you're not gonna have a world class chef that's a slave realistically. You know what I mean? Because like, how are you gonna become a world class chef if you were enslaved?
I mean, you know, they probably, you know,
it turns
the
out
way they work.
Secretly,
you know, the way the celestial dragons work, they look at everybody who ain't them as scum anyway.
Yeah, So that would make me think that people in the kitchen are actually celestial dragons.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But no, man, I like the way Fisher Tiger, like, you see a lot of, that's why I say the story starts in Fisherman Island, because Fisher Tiger, in being one of the first people to step outside of his home and try to do something different than what his home was portraying. I ain't gonna say first, but like that we see kind of, you know, like just in all of Fishman Island, this is the kind of thing we see kind of started, which like everyone else kind of, what you want to say, like, I'm trying to think, like in Dressrosa, when we gonna get there, we see people from outside coming in and influence and making the big deal, versus like Punk Hazard, people from outside came in, changed it. And when Fishman started, it was Fish Tiger going outside. That's what Jinbei doing, going outside, trying to change the inside. And like, that's the trope we see they do in Fishman Island, and that's what goes away in the coming chapters, is always outside coming in and changing that.
But also, like, we get that's like the wrong way to do it.
Yes.
Like Fukuboshi's just like, oh shit.
Yes.
God damn, whoops.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he doesn't say it with that cadence, but he's like, it's like the puppet meme where he like looks and then he looks away. Like, that's like Fukuboshi's just like, fuck. We should have thought about that earlier.
No, it's literally exactly, especially when they get down to the same stuff when they were saying how it wasn't supposed to be, like, it wasn't supposed to get that far. They could have stopped it themselves and could have, you know, did the right thing by the people and could have, like, prevented Horty and all of that from getting to that point.
Yeah, it's interesting, to say the least. I didn't think about it that way. But, like, that's the other thing that loops back into it. Like, outside of, like, Tiger Fisher and the speech at the end and learning about Joy Boy, the first mention of Joy Boy when Nico's talking to Neptune about it.
Yeah, at the party.
There's not a lot that happens this chapter. Besides, we see evil racist man say racist shit. It's Fishman Uncle Ruckus says stupid shit.
I mean, we can, one thing I'm starting to notice, we do see an example of somebody that's just the ultimate last man. And how would you feel if I even said Horty wasn't the ultimate last man? It was Vanderdecken.
I don't think either of them are the last man.
I'm talking about that try to be. Like, we always see somebody in these arcs try to be the ultimate last man.
Well, the big thing about the last man, he's supposed to be hedonistic.
Yeah.
But neither of them are hedonistic.
I mean, but
I think I get what you're saying. So,
because like when you think about it, because what I'm going off of is basically just how the last man's gonna view the ideals. Like,
well, no, I don't think we have to attribute the last man to anybody, because Musgard showed up.
Well, yeah,
and the Celestial Dragons are just they're like.
But that's him. But that's the whole trope, though.
But no, but the thing is, it proves that I feel that is one thing we completely forget that happens in Fishman Island. We learned, like, Fishman Island proves that, like, as soon as the Celestial Dragons have to struggle and behave like normal people, they're normal people again.
Mm-hmm. Like that pedestal's gone.
Yeah, as soon as, like, because, like, they could have just killed him and made him look like he disappeared and no one would have questioned anything. Yep. Like, they could have done all this stuff, but instead she was just like, no, we're gonna save him. I don't care if he's a celestial dragon, a normal person, or what. We're gonna help him. Like, fuck all the president, fuck all the other bullshit. We're gonna make sure he doesn't die. And then they save him and nurse him back to health. And he's just like, wow, I can't believe that even a lowly peasant class, like, because he sees them as lower than peasants because they're fishermen. And the whole thing, he's just like, I can't believe she'd stop all that to save a piece of shit like me.
Of course. But that's literally the whole
But also,
trope.
he doesn't realize he's a piece of shit until he realizes how much she sacrifices to help him.
And that's the whole trope. Literally, Mjolnir coming in and doing all of that, and the way it was helped and how he responded to it is the whole trope of Fishman Island. It's literally like, if Mjolnir did what he was supposed to do, look at himself, see what he did wrong, then look around you and see what was happening and go from there. And that's what he did. Like, he came in on that bullshit, that Celestial Dragon bullshit, realized these people ain't finna go for that Celestial Dragon bullshit. They finna fuck you up. Excuse my French, but they finna hurt you.
Remember, at first, they were like, when he had all the precedent and pomp behind him, they were just like, oh shit, Celestial Dragon, and then everything went horrible.
But that's because
he's at his lowest.
But that's because that the world's been geared to give respect to Celestial Dragons first. But when he came down and got off that pedestal and came waving that gun around, it was a different story. But the only person that still tried to save him in disagreements with everybody else was the queen. And when she came out there and still saved him, of course, still shot and all that. But when he looked at himself and figured out that, he went wrong, basically, without having to go too much. But then, he left and went away. But that's what was good because, we see Mjolnir later and everything, It's his character development. He's probably the best Celestial Dragon, for real. Mjolnir.
It's either him or Doflamingo's dad.
Yeah, but
you know how that he got crucified.
Hey, just because you said that, I'm ready to get to Dressrosa now because I'm ready to cover him. He actually is. He actually probably embodies this trope a lot.
The entire reason he wants to leave is because he's tired of how much a piece of shit the other ones are.
That and like
he's like, I just want to live a normal fucking life.
Yeah, like he didn't want to be a part of it anymore.
Deuces.
Like real talk. Like we see, like I'm ready to cover it all. Like we see these tropes just be magnified because that's part of the reason why I say Horty's bad because it's like, bruh, like you took too long to just look at yourself. That's all that it took too long. It took you to literally get beat through an arc. You know what I'm saying? Like in your own element, like you had to get beat in your own element, which, like, bruh, why it had to go that far for you to realize that you did?
I think this is the best way to explain why Horty sucks as a villain. He spent the entire first 3 quarters explaining we're so much better than everyone else. We're so much stronger. We're so much faster. Everything. We see him rip apart a ship with just his teeth. Everything. He's so strong. He immediately gets one shot by Luffy.
Pretty much.
When they're fighting on land.
That first time.
He immediately loses to Luffy. Like everybody, all of his crew, like they immediately lose to the fucking Straw Hats immediately, and then we have to deal with 18 episodes of them still fighting for no fucking reason.
Oh, you mad now?
Like for no reason. It's just like we're just fighting because we need to finish the arc, and it's just like my brother and Christ, in Oda's case, my fucking Buddha. Or my brother and Buddha. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's not that complicated. Just, like...
it did. Like, I was mostly thinking, like, because when you think about, like, just how Horty was set up, and for Vanderdecken to really just deliver really the final, the final jab and dropping the arc, because the fight was over once, really. Luffy beat Horty, but they still had to deal with the arc. And I honestly feel like that's where if I had to pick a point which Fishman went from like, hey, let's move this along to when like interesting. It's like Oda just took the interest and just here you go. Is when the Sea Kings came and grabbed it with the voice of all things, grabbed the art. I thought that was a really good touch. But that's just Oda doing the same world building trope he does, throwing us further into the unknown with why are these beasts here, what are they doing, and we know at this point Shirahoshi called them,
Yeah, we learned that she's deciding.
Because Horty, I ain't gonna lie, Horty put like a sour feel. Like I was really much so waiting on him to get knocked out at that point.
I wanted him to die.
Yeah, and then Luffy. I ain't gonna lie, the first time watching the elephant gun was pretty interesting. Just because I always enjoy my favorite string of attacks that Luffy does is anything Gatling related, and I've been satisfied. Yeah, over Kong gun.
Not just the regular Kong gun, because how it works is so stupid. Like the idea of it's so stupid. Like there's the one moment where he uses it to shoot air cannons at people.
Yeah.
Like it's just so stupid. Like how it works. It's just like he's just like I got a machine gun. Like that's how I think of it, and it just cracks me up. Yeah. He's just like.
I like anything Gatling, and I've been like satisfied with every iteration that it's increased on. Now my only wish is to see a Bajra and Gatling, but I don't think I'm gonna get that anytime soon. I don't
know. No, he could do that with his fingers. Like you see him like scrunch in.
I can see it.
And you just see. And he calls it a Barong pistol Gatling. Because after his last fight with where he beat the crap out of Rob Lucci. Because remember, Lucci, the only time Lucci actually does anything to him is he hits him with the 6-finger pistol.
Yeah. Like in his lobby, right?
No, I'm talking about an egghead. Or he doesn't land it against Luffy. He lands it on somebody. And it's like the only thing Rob Lucci actually does before Luffy just beats the shit out of him completely. Because like he tries to run away. I think he lands it on Zoro. He lands it on somebody.
I couldn't tell you. I can't think right now.
Yeah. It's just, it'd be awesome if he's just like, with his fingers. It's just like,
Nah, man. Definitely, bro. Fishman Island was, I think it opened the second core, the New World post time skip.
Well, it's supposed to. It's the only.
Open, as good as it could have been. Like
it's one of the only 3 ways to get into the New World.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know what the third one is. It's just implied that there's a third one.
I mean, think about it.
Well, I guess Morgan's.
Yeah.
Ship. So there's 4 ways.
The air, yeah.
Well, there's another way Shanks does it that we don't know about.
I couldn't tell you. Another way Roger did it too.
Yeah, but Shanks probably does the way Rogers did it, if I had to guess. But yeah. But, so in the fight, when Horty's like losing his shit and like popping veins in his eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Fukaboshi's just like, Fukaboshi thinks to himself, this hatred they willed is entirely void of any kind of experience and will. Horty is entirely empty. There is no substance within him. He's just saying he's a nihilistic piece of shit. That
summed up Horty in the whole thing.
Yeah. And then shortly after that. Oh, what?
No, because just like how he said he's a nihilist piece of shit, is just like everything when it goes back to when he asked them what humans really do for you to feel this way. And the answer is they did nothing.
Yeah, it's not that they did nothing to help Fisher Tiger. It's that he just hates, he uses humans as a scapegoat.
Yep.
For everything. Then after that, like Fukaboshi's just like, wait a minute. Like Fukaboshi has like an understanding of what's like going on. He said, we should have started by fighting inward. Our mother was murdered by the hatred of Fishman Island. I suspect that she knew this might happen, but somewhere in my heart I held that hatred of humans. The sorrow of the dead belongs to the dead. Hatred is an illusion that the living create and amplify on their own. We happened to overlook the hatred for humans that was building in the Fishman district, and by the time we noticed it, the hatred was a power beyond our control. At this rate, Fishman Island will destroy itself, and with its hatred of human. Please, Straw Hat, we do not need our past, reduce it to nothing. Vanquish these ghosts that distance us from the sun. with your hand reduce Fishman Island to nothing. I thought that little speech went kind of hard, personally. That's why I made sure that I had it. But he's basically saying, like, what good is Fishman if it's, like, Fishman Island as a place, if it's just the ghosts of its past? Like, if it's just the hatred that's grown to, like, the point where people are willing to destroy itself, like, willing to destroy itself to get rid of the place. Like, what good is the place?
Exactly. That's like, back in the day where they used to ask the villain, say, yeah, I want to destroy the world. Then where you going to live? Yeah. Like, and that goes so hard for Horty because it's like, you did all this to destroy, you did all this to destroy Fishman Island, but all this time you had to go up to the surface to do anything. You ain't did it, so when you destroy Fishman Island, what you going to do?
Well, also, like, with Fukaboshi, how he's talking there, it's not just like, he doesn't want to destroy Fishman Island so there's no Fishman Island. He wants to destroy Fishman Island to eradicate the hatred in the hearts of everyone in Fishman Island. Like, he understands that everyone with the hate in their heart doesn't deserve Fishman Island.
Yeah.
Like, especially the line, like, take us closer to the sun.
I think that's probably what it was the whole time. He probably think people don't deserve Fishman Island, so he gonna get rid of it. I mean, but this
I don't even think that he I think he's more nihilistic than that. I think since he feels nothing, he feels nobody else should have anything.
I know that's exactly what Antidote was on.
Yeah, that's why I think they, like, mirror each other in that sense.
Yeah, because as soon as that boy said throw the whole arc at Shirahoshi, I said, yeah, boy, you don't care. You don't care about nobody. But
yeah, he just boy, wants to kick a wow.
You weird. That boy something wrong with him.
Yeah, he is.
You did all that for a woman that didn't want you, bro. One you wasn't even supposed to be going after.
No, a girl. She's 16 during Fishman Island.
Somebody he shouldn't even be going after.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you should just
also, like, it's so weird that it's just like he was in love from the first moment he laid eyes on her.
Yeah, that boy weird.
What?
That boy weird.
You mean when she looked like one of the fucking bubble guppy quints? Like, hell nah, Vanderdecken.
But it's just too, like, he did too much. Like, Vanderdecken honestly did more.
Man, I don't care if he did nothing. Fuck that man.
No, like, in general, like, if it was Vanderdecken really the one that did all the harm. Because if you think about it, Vanderdecken was the one that kept harm. Like, Vanderdecken was the one that kept Shirahoshi locked up. Like.
Also, that's another thing. Fukaboshi could have beat the shit out of him whenever, but they just didn't. They, like, it's another problem that they could have fixed immediately.
Yeah,
like,
just trying to keep the peace.
It just shows, like, Neptune's actually a shitty king. Like, when you think about it.
Hey, we can make a whole video on that.
Like, when you think about it, like, he let, like.
I agree with you with that.
It took 10 years.
Even the stuff that in the freaking Reverie, man. Like, bruh, in the Reverie. We'll get there.
Well, also, we got to hold off on that. The only reason that they didn't, like, immediately, like, all die is because most guards showed up and pulled some gangster shit.
But not even that, bro. Like, man, them dudes was finna to take his daughter.
Oh, yeah, and he freezes up. No, personally, I would have just been like, pop.
Like, bro, yeah. Like,
I would have been like,
I say,
slave time, go ahead, lock me up.
Like I say, we gonna get there, but because I swear,
it would have been
to talk about.
My shit would have looked like that shit from, like, '96 with the guy walking through the airport. But, like, that's neither here nor there. But, like, the whole thing, it's just Horty's a nihilistic dick that wants the world to burn. Luffy's the exact opposite of that because he's the Ubermensch, and the Ubermensch is how you get rid of nihilism, which is ironic that Luffy's the one that beats him. And he beats him with Red Hawk, too.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time he uses Red Hawk.
Yep, first time.
In the manga, he actually punches a hole in Horty's stomach.
Come on with it, studio. I need to see it.
Like,
I want to see all the gore.
Like, you don't get to see the gore, but you just see his, see, like, his skin ripped because it can't be a shirt because his skin's a completely different color than the shirt. Also, why does Horty look sort of like Michael Jackson? You see it now.
Just a little bit.
Like in the face. like post vertigo Michael Jackson, like a little bit. It looks a little bit like him in the face. It cracks me up when I think about it. But we have that. Then we have the party. Nico talks to Neptune. We learn about Joy Boy and the apology to the previous holder of Poseidon. Well, we don't know that it's the previous holder of Poseidon. We just know it's the princess. The princess from 800 years ago. But we know now that it was the previous user of Poseidon. Or
the previous...
one of the previous. There might have been one in between, but we don't know. But we get that. We learn Akainu's the new fleet admiral. And I think we learned... I can't remember exact, but I think we learned that he fought Aokiji, but we just don't know what happened.
Yeah, we don't know the whole story. Yeah,
we just know that Aokiji was just like, no. And Akainu was just like, yes. And then they fought. That's exactly what happened.
I know they got the second longest tenure fight in all of One Piece. The second longest.
What, the big fight for Fishman Island?
Huh?
Or what? The second longest what?
They got the second longest fight duration in One Piece.
Oh, Akainu and Kuzan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the first is?
I assume it's Roger and somebody.
Nope.
Oh, is it Jinbei and Ace?
Nope.
Cause that took forever. Jinbei and Ace was like a week or something like that.
Well, I know Kainu's and then was 10 days.
Yeah, it was 10 days.
Dorian Brody.
They don't count.
It does.
No, it's not. That's like a fight a day. That's not the same thing. These motherfuckers were just going.
I mean,
like that shit.
If you don't want to call it because they got to take a break, I'll give you that.
Yeah. But, well, like if we combine like the duration of the fights on average,
they're
like,
basically
they're
basically fighting to the death for a set amount of time every day for at a certain amount of time.
Yeah, but that's not what Akaizen and Kuzan, at least how they explain it, is like we've been trying to kill each other for 10 days
straight. And didn't stop. Yeah.
And it only ended up with losing a chunk of Akainu's neck and the bottom half of Kuzan. I think it's his left leg.
If you was, I mean, nah, I ain't even gonna do that. I ain't even gonna asterisk it like that. I'm just gonna leave it. You're right.
Yeah,
I give it to you.
There's probably a fight with Roger that was longer.
As they tell you. I'm still waiting on the rest of the God Valley. I ain't gonna lie to you. After that episode today, I'm ready.
I don't even know what happened in today's episode. I read 11:27. I want to know whose devil fruit that is.
Yeah.
Because they're in a Lego castle.
Yeah.
That's dope as shit. I like Legos.
We'll talk about it after the stream.
Yeah. But I love Legos, so I'm interested to know if it's like, especially like, what if Elbath is just made out of Legos?
I don't think it's...
I know, but it's just like one of those things.
You mentioned Grand Line Review. Grand Line Review made a very convincing statement today that a video that all that shit is a hallucination.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because, like I say, we'll get into it.
That's like 30 weeks away from where we are now. Just because, what's it called? We're on 5. We got to get to 11. So, we got to double where we're at now. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that happened. Because episode 575 is I think it's a 6-episode filler arc.
Yeah, they doing
it's the anniversary
Z
stuff
film
with Z.
Yeah, film Z movie. I know it's Z for us, but I've been listening to so many people say Z is.
Well, that's because like Grand Line Review is Irish and
not even just him. Everybody says like that.
No, I think that's how Japan says Z.
Yeah. Like, even other people I watch.
An Australian say it. I know there's an Australian dude that makes One Piece videos. I can't remember his name.
Oh, you talking about, no, it ain't Rogers Base, is it? Rogers Base not Australia.
Well, or he might be New Zealand. He has like one of those accents.
I gotta get back.
I don't remember who his name is. I don't remember his name. I just saw like one of his videos one time at work, and then I just remember the accent because that's a very memorable accent. But yeah, that's pretty much all that happened here. Next week we start Punk Hazard, which personally I don't like Punk Hazard, but it's not like Fishman Island where I actively.
I was waiting on it. It's mainly
just because Caesar's lame.
Caesar's. voice. That was it for me.
I don't
Caesar's
even know what he
voice.
sounds like because I just read it and I'm so happy after I've
Hey,
heard people
Caesar's
talk about
voice. If you
it. So I'm gonna have to watch it for this.
if you didn't like if you felt any way about Moria's laugh, Caesar's 2.0.
Fuck Moria.
All right then.
No, Moria looked kind of hard when he was younger though. When he was like in his 20s, like when he fought Kaido.
Yeah, it was for
he looked pretty dope.
Straight.
He looked pretty dope.
Yeah, man. That's pretty much it. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in to us, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, man. Appreciate y'all for the dialogue today, man. I really enjoyed that. I know it's having that, man, is new to us, man. So appreciate y'all, man. Keep it up. More dialogue, more talking, man.
Or you can shit talk also because we'll shit talk.
Hey, man. We love it. We love it, man. Appreciate y'all so much. Like, we pretty much been at this a minute, man. We starting to see y'all viewing and stuff, tapping in.
Yeah, it's cool.
Appreciate that, man.
Stopping by midstream now.
Oh yeah, we love it.
Thank we appreciate y'all.
We love the growth. We see the growth. We see how we
definitely
keeping up.
The first 12 episodes was getting only 3 or 4 views, but now we're consistently in the 20s. 30s.
Yeah, 20s and 30s, seeing 50s and 100s sometimes. But we appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Make sure y'all subscribe though. Go on, join the crew. Go on, join the shop.
We not a crew. We a shop.
Join the shop, man. Go on, tap into the shop.
At some point, I'm gonna get a custom shop thing done, and it's gonna have the shop's gonna be designed with the things that we've talked about.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Different arcs on the wall of One Piece and Naruto and stuff.
Yeah, that would be dope.
But yeah,
that would be dope.
It's gonna take a little while to be able to do that. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Appreciate y'all for coming out and everything. I've been Corrupted.
And this is Dre.
And signing off.
Yeah.